If flying feels physically harder today than it did 20 years ago, that's because it is. Planes are fuller, terminal walks are longer, and the crowds move faster. U.S. airlines board over 800 million passengers a year. To manage that volume, they have 10 specific protocols already built into their systems, specifically designed to accommodate travelers at our stage of life. But here is the honest truth: they are never going to volunteer them. It's not a conspiracy, it's just math. A service announced is a service that costs time and money, so airlines operate by omission. This leaves you with a choice. Staying silent costs you physical pain and extra fees. Claiming these accommodations requires you to speak up and advocate for yourself. This chart maps 10 perks into 2 buckets: polite requests and enforceable federal rights. Notice the points cluster. The most powerful tools are federal rights locked in before reaching the airport. Knowing this difference removes the guilt of feeling like you are being the burden. Getting a comfortable journey means trading the habit of staying quiet for knowing exactly what to say and exactly when to say it. The easiest way to avoid physical friction at the airport is to handle it days before you pack your bags, during the booking phase. Take the senior fare. It didn't die out, it just went quiet. On some airline websites, you have to actively search the passenger type menu and select over 65, or call reservations directly to find them. The catch is that this requires an extra 5 to 10 minutes of digging. Airlines only file these discounted rate codes on specific routes where retirees actually fly, so you have to ask them to check your specific trip. Next is the in-flight meal. If you order a low-sodium or diabetic meal at least 24 hours out, it costs nothing extra. Because special meals come off the cart first, you eat 20 minutes before the rest of the cabin. Then there is accessible seating. This is a legally mandated right, not a favor. If you have physical limitations, the law sets specific seats aside for you. Call the airline's accessibility desk 48 hours before your flight. You don't need a medical diagnosis. Just describe the physical need, like telling them you simply cannot lower yourself over a fixed armrest into a middle seat. Normally, an aisle seat or extra legroom triggers a preferred seat upcharge, but when you make this call for a required accommodation, the airline must place you in a seat with a movable armrest or extra space at no extra cost. Using that 48-hour pre-flight window legally forces the airline to adapt to the reality of your body, instead of making your body adapt to the plane. Once you arrive, the physical scale of the modern airport becomes the immediate problem. The walk from the curb drop-off to the gate is often a marathon. Looking at this terminal lap, you can see how an Escort Pass changes the entire morning. A son or daughter who isn't flying can get a pass that goes right through security, allowing them to carry your bag and wait with you until boarding. To get one, you must bypass the kiosk and ask a human agent at a staffed counter. Bring your escort's government ID, and make sure you arrive about 30 minutes earlier than usual to process it. If you are traveling alone, federal law requires airlines to provide free wheelchair and guided assistance from the curb, through security, and across every single connection. This single request turns a stressful 45-minute layover into a routine process. You do relinquish control of your pace to the airport staff, but it completely eliminates the physical exhaustion of rushing between terminals. Knowing how to trigger these transit protocols turns the overwhelming distance of the airport from a physical barrier into a tightly managed escorted walk. Next, you reach the gate. This is where airlines have the least amount of time and the highest desperation to load the plane quickly. Planes are fuller than they've been in decades, and overhead bins run out constantly. But that lack of space is actually leverage. You don't have to strain your shoulders fighting for room in Group 4. Instead, volunteer your bag to the gate agent before they even make the announcement. They will tag it to your final destination for free, sparing you the bag fee and the heavy lifting. Then there is federal pre-boarding. Many seniors assume this is only for wheelchairs, but it isn't, and it absolutely does not require a doctor's diagnosis or paperwork. Under federal disability rules, the process is self-identification. Before general boarding starts, you simply tell the gate agent you need extra time. That sentence alone legally guarantees you and your travel companion board first. Speaking up early at the podium shifts the power dynamic. It takes the gate agent off their default script and forces them to execute your legal rights. The rules change again the moment the cabin door closes. The computer system freezes, and the flight crew takes total control of the environment. Because there are no shows on almost every flight, Quiet, polite requests for an empty row for medical comfort succeed frequently once the boarding chaos ends. Wait until boarding is completely finished, explain your need, and ask the crew. But what happens when the flight doesn't take off at all? When you're stranded by a cancellation, airlines hope you just accept the delay. They will not automatically hand you compensation. Looking at this decision tree based on the Department of Transportation dashboard, we see exactly how to force their hand. Ask the desk agent if the delay is controllable, meaning an issue like crew scheduling or maintenance. That specific word triggers written commitments for meal vouchers and hotel rooms. Finally, if an agent ever denies you a wheelchair, blocks your pre-boarding, or refuses a seating accommodation, look at this chain of command. You have a federal referee on your side called the Complaint Resolution Official, or CRO. Every airline is required to have a CRO available at all times. Saying, "I'd like to speak with your CRO," legally mandates immediate mediation from someone authorized to override standard employees and enforce federal disability law on the spot. Possessing this specific legal vocabulary shifts you from a vulnerable target at a dead gate directly into a legally protected passenger. The reality of modern flying is simple. The airline's default setting is to charge you for every convenience and volunteer zero assistance. This chart breaks down your next steps. To get these 10 perks, you have to abandon the idea that you are being a bother. Depending on your travel goals, your strategy splits into 2 clear paths. If your priority is optimizing for comfort, focus on the 24-hour meal requests, volunteering your carry-on early, and securing those post-door seat moves. If you are managing physical limitations, focus exclusively on your federal rights. Call the accessibility desk 48 hours prior, demand your pre-boarding, and keep the CRO protocol ready if you need it. Airlines do not reward passive compliance. An informed, vocal self-advocate is the only passenger guaranteed a safe and comfortable journey. The reality of modern flying is simple. The airline's default setting is to charge you for every convenience and volunteer zero assistance. This chart breaks down your next steps. To get these 10 perks, you have to abandon the idea that you are being a bother. Depending on your travel goals, your strategy splits into 2 clear paths. If your priority is optimizing for comfort, focus on the 24-hour meal requests, volunteering your carry-on early, and securing those post-door seat moves. If you are managing physical limitations, focus exclusively on your federal rights. Call the accessibility desk 48 hours prior, demand your pre-boarding, and keep the CRO protocol ready if you need it. Airlines do not reward passive compliance. An informed, vocal self-advocate is the only passenger guaranteed a safe and comfortable journey.